Hey guys, it's Phil coming at you with another video, and I apologize for the delay in upload, but with the holidays, it kind of took away from me being able to do this. But those that know me, I appreciate my family, and I don't get to see them very often, so when I do, I spend as much time and embrace every single second I can get with them. So I hope you guys did the same and had a nice, safe holiday, and if you're still celebrating the holiday, have a safe holiday with your family, or if you're spending it by yourself, don't do things that you wouldn't have done otherwise if it wasn't a holiday, because we need everyone to stay safe and stay unified and stay healthy, so that way we can stay empowering and motivating everyone else. And with that, in the delay in the upload, there were 43 people that passed their exam, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. So congrats to those people, and let's get into it. So Demoria B, Kirsten W, Avery G, Patrice G, Brian W, Anthony F, Holly B, Tyra J, Nancy H, Victoria H, Jasmine S, Andrew M, Jamisa R, Andrew M, Lescott E, Nikki G, Viviana G, Kayla O, Jennifer W, Stephanie S, Jody K, Aaron S, Carla F W, Lydia B, Samora, Alex P, Michelle C, Chawita F, Chesney S, Lenore L, Khalid S, Sam K, Stephanie E, Lauren L, Kristen S, Nicole G, Lorraine J, Michelle R, Stephanie H, Catrice B, Kimberly M, Alicia J, and Valerie H. And yes, guys, I'm so excited because we did hit the 500 mark, and as I was saying in previous videos, I didn't even think we were going to hit 100, so we have had 500 people pass in this last year, and it's absolutely mind-blowing, and it gets me so excited and appreciative because thank you to everyone that shared, thank you to everyone that supported, thank you for everyone that commented, thank you for everyone that emailed, and if you want me to share your name as well, send me an email at berda24@gmail.com. And if you want to get into the study groups and you want to join the community, the next study groups are as follows: 1229 DSM-5 and meds, 15 client interventions, 112 substance use, intoxication, and withdrawal symptoms, as well as the stages of change, 119 research program development and program evaluation, and 126 practice questions, and likely go over the acronym. In that study group in particular, we go into the particular questions, how to break them down, how to analyze them, and how to apply the acronym, and how to get everything together with that. And if you want information on those, you can check out my Facebook page at Fill in the Gaps, or send me an email at berda24@gmail.com. And if you're interested in private tutoring, you can send me an email as well at berda24@gmail.com. And there's a couple people that are taking their exam, and someone asked me to wish them good luck, so I'm going to do that now. We have Kelsey M, Erica T, Katie A, as well as somebody that I've been working with. Good luck to Lauren E as well. So go into the exam and kill it, guys, because you guys can do this, and this is a process that can take a lot of energy and a lot of focus. And that's what I want to talk about in particular today is, what do you do when you're actually worried about the exam, or you're feeling anxious in your prep and you are feeling unmotivated, you don't want to get this done, and you don't feel like you can actually do it? Because I'm hearing it a lot more, and it may be because of the holidays, you're around your family more, and they're pressuring you, and they're getting into your head. Or you're getting up onto the licensure period and you're saying, man, my limited license or my license is about to run out and I want more things for myself, but I can't quite get the motivation to get the job done. So my first suggestion for this is figure out what is behind the anxiety. Because with any anxiety or worry, there's actually some truth within that pieces of information that you're seeing. So a lot of times when I'm working with people, the anxiety is coming from their previous attempts, what people want them to be doing, or what they think that people are thinking that they should be doing. I know that's kind of complicated, so let me slow that down a little bit. So people believe that other people are thinking that there should be different situations for them. But at the end of the day, the majority of the people that you have around you want you to do what makes you happy and what you are actually doing right now, rather than all these things that you think that people are thinking, or, wow, I failed my exam, I can't tell anybody, they're going to bring me down, they're going to be degrading me, I can't believe this, there's all this stigma, I can't break it to anybody, I'm so ashamed of all of these things. But at the end of the day, once you own your process, you figure out what's making you anxious and put forth energy to change that perception of what you're looking at, you'll be so much further. And so many people are, if they had a small bit more shred of belief or positive energy or some influences in their life, they'd be able to accomplish such amazing things, but they are not allowing that situation to happen, or they're not seeking out that assistance or help or that positive energy. They would rather stay in isolation and not tell anybody because they feel like they're going to be judged, demeaned, or brought down for what they've done in the past or what they're currently doing. Or you just get so over encumbered by the amount of resources and support that you're getting that it's adding stress. And that may sound weird because a lot of people want people to support them. They want people to rock with them. They want to soak in every free piece of information that they can get, but not all information is good information for you. And with that said, it could be a possibility that people are more excited for your exam than you are, and it's creating anxiety, but you have to let it go and tell people what your boundaries are. And it may sound strange to have boundaries around exam taking, but you need to have boundaries in every facet of your life, because if a situation is uncomfortable for you and it's not adding to your situation or making you feel more powerful or empowered in general, you have to set that boundary and say, that is not helpful right now. I understand what you're trying to do with and for me, but that's not what is going to be best for me at this given time. So please support me in this way. Or can we not talk about this situation, because every time that it's brought up, it makes me more anxious and more uncomfortable. So identifying where your anxiety is coming from, addressing and assessing and intervening in the appropriate manner for yourself is going to be more helpful. So that little bit of shred of uncomfortableness of setting that boundary or reflecting with yourself of where it's coming from, forgiving yourself for those past exam attempts, or if you had put in so much effort in the previous attempts that you feel exhausted in this attempt, it's okay to take some time off. And it's going to sound weird of, well, why aren't I hammering in? Why aren't I hitting it? Why the iron is hot? But not every piece of information and effort is going to be helpful to get you to where the goals that you need to be at. So running your own race and not the race that anyone else wants you to run or what you feel like you should be running, but simply being who and where you're currently supposed to be is going to be so much more important. So recognizing where that's coming from and analyzing and assessing and addressing it appropriately. And the second one that I'm going to suggest is understand the energy that you're letting into your situation. Because not all energy is positive energy, and not all negative energy is actually negative. And what does that mean? A lot of times when I'm interacting with people will say, Phil, what if I fail the exam? If I fail the exam, all of these negative things are going to happen, and all of these negative perceptions. And the first question I always ask them people is, what happens when you pass the exam? And it's silent, because they've never entertained the thought that I could actually pass the exam and have positive things and good things happen. So every negative thought that you have or negative piece of information or energy that you let into your situation, you almost have to counteract it and put that positive energy to override it. Because a bad habit, in order to break a bad habit, you have to do good habits over time and with some consistency in that situation. So if you have never thought, what would happen once I pass the exam, or what would it look like for me to be positive or believe in myself or to have some efficiency within my situation and not give up on what I want, but simply say what I'm doing right now is not working and addressing and assessing and intervening in a way. So if you're having constant bad energy, it's bad vibes. So if that bad vibe is going to lead you to be less efficient in the exam, you're almost putting a weight on your back and expecting yourself to run a mile in the same speed, if not faster than you would without the weight and the training within that. So you have to almost tell yourself, how positive am I being? And if I was this negative with people around me, would they want me around? Because if you have negative people or negative energy or negative supports or anything negative into your situation, that's not motivating you. And that's where negative energy could be positive, is if you have negative thoughts of, man, when I failed that exam, and then you have a positive, well, that is why I'm going to take the negative energy of failing the exam, not beat up on myself, but simply say, this is a feeling that I never want to feel ever, ever, ever again. And not in a way that's like, shame on you. It's like, I've learned the lesson from failing the exam, and I'm ready to get the positive result of passing the exam. And it's not all about the result, because once you develop that process, once you walk into the exam, it's going to be so much easier. But if you do not believe that you can pass the exam, you absolutely will not. Because there's always that turning point within your life of, you can either give up, you can submit, or you can continue pushing on and getting to the goal and getting what you want out of the situation. And that doesn't mean it's always a straight shot of like, bing, oh yeah, I'm here. It's, I've put forth enough energy that I'm willing to say that I am best prepared in this given moment. I'm not going to be 100% confident, but I will put enough positivity into my situation that it overrides the negative, and I will have a positive outlook when it comes to taking this exam. Absolutely what I did when I walked into the exam. I walked in, I didn't say, wow, you're going to kill this. I told myself, you will run the process that you developed and what you wanted to do in this attempt, and at the end of the day, if you fail, you put forth as much positive energy and positive thoughts and positive results into the situation that it's enough for me. So before I submitted my exam results, I went to the bathroom and said, Phil, you did the best that you could. Do not second guess yourself. Don't change any answers. Simply accept the result that you are, which is difficult. It is super, super difficult. And I'm not saying this is a breeze, guys, because trust me, I'm a person that loves particular details. And if I can't get something right, I will do it over and over and over and over and over to the point where it's not even fun anymore. But when you are studying, you have to make sure that what you're doing is something that you actually enjoy or will get you to where you want to be, because that's sacrifice at the end of the day. But if you're not putting forth positive energy into your situation, you'll never get it. And that's why I always tell people the 2-to-1 rule. You have to have 2 positive thoughts to counteract 1 negative to inherently get a positive result in the end. And some of you may be saying, man, I've had a lot more negative thoughts than that. But it's not all about overriding it all. It's a matter of fact of overriding the negative energy that's demotivating you and making your situation not as strong as it could possibly be. And the third thing is remain consistent in your situation. Way too many people will hear energy over here, read a Facebook post over here, hear this other result that worked for somebody else, or wow, that person failed, and they just get knocked out. It's like you are only doing what people want you to do rather than doing what you are intended to do or what you actually feel is right for you. A lot of people will say, Phil, I'm thinking of taking the exam in X amount of time, or I'm using this study result. I'm not really sure if it's working for me. And I always ask, what do you think? And it's not the therapist in me that's like, well, you do whatever the heck you want. It's if I tell you what you're supposed to be doing, it's no longer your prep anymore. And if you fail, it's almost like taking you out of it and saying, well, it didn't work because I listened to this person or this person or this person. Or if you do walk in there and fail, you are so angry at those people and you have fire inside of your soul that should be focused in other areas rather than seeing the positive and saying like, wow, that actually increased the score. Or, wow, this actually made me feel more comfortable or confident. What's in the way now, and identifying and addressing things that could potentially be in a new way. So being consistent is the key. And people always ask me, what should I do differently in the prep since I failed? And I tell them, do the exact same thing because it worked for you. And what do you mean it worked? I failed. You got so confident and comfortable in that routine. We just have to make small critiques to it for it to work out better. So staying consistent and doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and begging for a different result. And that comes with being positive, because if I'm doing the same thing and think that it's going to lead to a better result than it once would have been in the past, I am getting further and further and further. And that's something you can take into actual practice once you get there, or any venture in life. If you are consistent over time, you will adapt and understand and get better at something, irregardless of what you have done prior or the results that you've gotten prior. Because again, it's not about the results, it's about the process that you do. Because if you have a sound process and routine, regardless of what the situation does, you will walk in there and being confident and comfortable within the situation that you have created. We're not going to focus on the things that we can't control. We're going to focus on the things that we have done to do in preparation for this exam to get us a better result and a better mindset. And that is the key to whatever anything in life is being consistent, being comfortable with being uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable. And let me say that again. You have to be consistent with being uncomfortable to get comfortable with being uncomfortable to get to a comfortable result. Because if you are uncomfortable, it means you're growing, it means you're preparing, it means you're stretching. So once you get put into a situation that is equally challenging, if not less challenging, than you've been doing, it's going to be a breeze. So once you walk into the exam with the routine that you've been doing with maybe easier questions or more difficult questions, you will have the framework to plug in and say, I know exactly how to approach this question, regardless of the content, regardless of the situation, because I have been doing this so often that I am not uncomfortable in this uncomfortable situation because I've become comfortable with that. So after that, you need to do the fourth thing, which is tell yourself you're not finished. Whether you pass or fail, do not be finished with what you are doing. So if you fail the exam, you have to remind yourself, I am not finished. You are going to feel defeated if you have failed this exam and feel like you cannot continue going. But that is the moment where you have to put your foot all the way down on the throttle to get to where you want to go. Because those are going to be the hard days to get yourself going because you've already put X amount of work in, but that X amount of work only was getting you so far, so you have to put the extra effort in to get further because the previous efforts aren't lost. You did not lose. You got that experience to build onto that experience to become more experienced, because in order to have experience, you must experience in some capacity. So that sounds weird, but you need to tell yourself, I'm not finished. I'm just getting started. And if you pass the exam, tell yourself you're not finished there either, because this is a continually growing profession. You need to do what it takes to get to where you want to go, and it does take pushing yourself in the moment when you are comfortable, because where you are right now is a place that you dreamed of being previously. You dreamed of being able to take the exam, and then once you got in there and failed and didn't get the result that you wanted, you changed your mind and said, I never wanted to be here. This profession may not be for me. This situation isn't what I wanted it to be. And absolutely not, it's not. But you have to remind yourself that you are here for a reason and not simply to be analyzed by systematic and metric thing. You need to create the situation that you want to see yourself being in, and that may take you more than one attempt. That may take you more than 2 attempts, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7. But please do not give up, because you are intended to be here, and there are lessons out of each attempt. And if you lose the lessons or lose the experience out of those attempts, it was almost for nothing. But if you change your mindset and say, it took me 7 times, but it is not less sweet than if it would have been on the first try, because I've learned consistency, I've learned determination, and I've learned how to be dedicated and consistent over time. So if I apply this to any other venture in life that I have or with clients, I am going to be one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant social worker on the planet, or whatever you want to become, because you have that experience of not getting what you want, advocating, being intuitive, and being able to adjust and adapt situations. So when you work with people that are in those situations, it's not going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe we can't do this. It's going to be like, wow, I've been prepared for this, and I have the wherewithal when this stuff doesn't go how I want it to be, that I can still keep going and stay motivated and stay positive and bring the environment up around me because of what I've been through. And that is where you have to take yourself, is I am not finished. I am just getting started, and I am excited to get started on this process because I know where I want to be. Like I said in the first one, figure out what the anxiety is doing for you and with you, and understand what energy you're bringing in, because once you have an understanding of saying you're not finished, you can be open to having that reflection. You can be open to being positive about your situation. But if you tell yourself you're finished, that you can't do it, it's not something I should be doing, of course you're not going to be fired up. Of course you're not going to be motivated, because you're going to feel like all the effort you put in is lost. And when there's a negative interaction, we have some type of visceral reaction or internal processing that says you shouldn't continue because this isn't worth your time. But you don't know if it's worth your time until you finish and get the actual result that you've been working towards and getting towards and burning towards, because it's something that you deserve and something that you belong in and should keep going irregardless of anything or anyone around you, because this is your situation and you should not have to compromise where you want to be for what people are telling you or what this exam's doing or anything. You are destined to be great, and if you don't put forth that tenacity and that energy and keep going, you'll never get what you ever want. So you have to understand and say, I am not finished. This exam could have told me something. Someone over here can tell me something. This thing back here is telling me something. I will stay focused on this and stay so consistent that once I get it, I will never lose it, because I put forth the effort to get it and put the energy and created a mental mindset of I am irrestructible and I will get what I'm supposed to get. And then the 5th suggestion that I have is keep it realistic. And what do I mean by realistic? You just told me that I can set any goal and work towards it. But be realistic with yourself and for yourself. And a lot of times when I'm working with people, they're like, Phil, I'm getting practice questions wrong left and right. I'm not sure if I'm ready. Of course you're going to get them wrong. You're a human. We are not perfect. You are not a robot or a computer system that when we like, bing, 100% right. Because you are so uniquely programmed that you have to program your program to be as unique as you are. Base it off your learning style. If you're an audio person, make sure you're doing audio-based things like recordings, videos, etc., or talking to people about it, so that way you get the concept. You're a visual person, create charts, look at the videos, read books, etc., because once you visually see something, you're going to be able to comprehend it. But if you're doing audio stuff and you're a visual person, of course you're not going to feel like you're learning something or it's lost on you and you're wasting hours of studying. Because it's never a waste, because if you do studying for, let's say, 2 weeks and figure out this isn't my learning style, you just gained a golden ticket, because you will be able to learn for the rest of your life based on the fact that you just figure out that you're a visual learner, audio learner, or tactile. If you're tactile, create notes, create charts, feel it, do something to make it work, do other things with people, do what your learning style is. So be realistic in the fact that you're not going to know everything. Not every study routine or study material works for you, and that's okay. There's big programs out there, and if that program didn't work for you, it's not something wrong with you, it's something wrong with the program, which is not your learning style. Or if you have different preferences in the people that you're working with or studying with, don't bring yourself down to fit into the box that they're putting themselves into. Being realistic means I'm going to set forth a goal that I'm able to work towards, and I'm going to understand what I need and what I'm going to see for myself. Also, being realistic with the length of time that you can do. If you can't put in 3, 4, 5, 6 hours every day to study, don't create a prep around that, because it's going to create anxiety, it's going to diminish your relationships, and it's going to make you a less version of what you could have been if you would have been realistic, focused, and honed in on what you need. A lot of times people are throwing around suggested lengths of time, study materials you should use, different colleges. Like, I was interacting with somebody that's like, I went to this program and this program, everyone passes on the first try. And that's not the correct thing, because not everyone is programmed the same way, and not everyone gets the same exam, and not everyone gets the same score that they have to get to pass the exam. So focusing in and being realistic with your situation, regardless of what people are telling you or what the situation around you is doing, and all those things, because at the end of the day, if you are staying true to who you are, you will get true results based on who you are. Because it's not what you do that defines who you are, it's what you utilize with what you have to get what you want to define who you are. Because again, that mindset is going to be able to stay with you and not go away from you once you get the result. Because it's not a physical thing, it's an actual thing that you can maintain, sustain, and be within. So being realistic and understanding what do I need and what can I get out of this situation to better equip me or better prepare me to do something that I do not think that I'm able to do, which comes with being realistic with who you let into your circle of supports. Because if someone, every time you talk to them, is bringing you down, making you feel more anxious, and also making you feel guilty for not doing X, Y, or Z, let that person go, because they're not on the same train as you, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you have to cut them out of your life entirely. Well, maybe, but it does not mean that, because there are certain people that you surround yourself with based on certain topics, and that's okay. Because not everyone has the same interests, not everyone's going to engage the same way, and not everyone's going to have the same energy about your goals as you do. Rightfully so, because if someone else is more fired up about your goals than you're fired up about them, bad moves, bad vibes, because this is your goal, so you need to be so fired up in the current moment about what you want to see for yourself that it makes you exhausted based on how much energy and excitement that you get from it. But that energy and passion and fuel is going to lead you to further yourself in some way, shape, or form. So focusing in on what you need. So quick review of everything that we just covered. Figure out what makes you anxious and hone in on the particular details and make changes to those right now. Understand the energy that you're putting in. If every time the exam comes up you're negative or it's anger or any frustration, hone that in with positive and seeing the positive results that can come within the situation from you being able to take and pass and study for the exam. Remain consistent in anything that you do, because if you are inconsistent or all over the place and making yourself less capable or empowered or powerful in your situation, bad moves, bad vibes. And then fourth, tell yourself you're not finished and focus in on the progress that you want to see for yourself rather than how much further that you have to go. 5, keep yourself realistic and have your situation be realistic to your circumstances, situation, and everything like that. And again, I do offer individual tutoring as well if you want that. Send me an email at berda24@gmail.com, as well as the next study groups are as follows: 1229, DSM-5 and meds; 1.5, client interventions; 1.12, substance use, intoxication, and withdrawal in the stages of change; 1.19, research, program development, and program evaluation; and 1.26, practice questions. Thank you guys so much for the support. And if you've made it this far and you want to bring a friend, if you purchase the 1229 DSM-5 and meds, send me an email with the code word PHIL with your payment information, and I will let you bring a friend in, because I want to empower and bring everyone together. Thank you guys so much for the support. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.